Hello friends, Namaste, subscribe to channel. So today we will understand debt to equity ratio. So the DE ratio is a financial metric that compares a company's total debt to its total shareholder equity, which it is financed by debt versus equity. To calculate DE ratio, you divide a company's total liabilities by its total shareholder equity. The resulting number represents the amount of debt financing for every rupee of equity financing. For example, if a company has total liability of 500 rupee and the total shareholder equity of 1000 rupee, its D ratio would be 500 divided by 1000 is 0.5. Calculate debt to equity. So to calculate D ratio, you need to know the total amount of debt and total shareholder equity of a company. You can find this information in the balance sheet, liabilities and equities. First of all, you need to find the amount of debt. Add up all the company's liability, including both short-term and long-term debt. The second step is find the total amount of shareholder equity. Add up all the company's equity, which includes common stock, preferred stock, and the retained earnings. And the final step is uh, divide the total amount of debt by the total amount of shareholder equity. The resulting number will be D ratio. For example, let's say company has 500 rupee in total debt and 1000 rupee in total shareholder equity. To calculate the D ratio, you would divide 500 by 1000 to get a ratio of 0.5. This means that the company has 50 paise of debt for every 1 rupee of shareholder equity. Now the question is higher or lower debt to D ratio better? What is a good D ratio? In general, a lower D ratio is preferred as it indicates less debt on a company's balance sheet. However, this will also vary depending on the stage of the company's growth and its industry sector. Newer, the growing companies often use debt to fuel growth, for instance, and the good D ratio is 1 or less than 1. Now, suppose we will understand by two examples. A company one, which is having a total days is 1 lakh dollar, and the total equity is 20,000, and 1 lakh is divided by 20,000 is 5. So 5 is the D ratio. A, a company, a highly leveraged and risky investment maybe, and the company second is having a 50,000 total loan, and 1 lakh is a total earnings means total shareholder capital, and 50,000 is divided by 1 lakh is 0.5 D ratio. A low risk company and a better investment. Again, you need to have this in your mind while filtering any company. The debt to ratio is often associated with a risk. A higher ratio suggests higher risk and that the company is financing its growth with debt. However, when a company is in its growth phase, a high DE ratio might be necessary for that growth. Why should we use DE ratio while filtering any company for investment? Accessing financial risk. The D ratio is measure of the company's financial risk because it shows the extent to which the company is financed by debt versus equity. A high debt to ratio indicates that a company has a significant amount of debt relative to its equity, which can be a sign of financial risk. This can be useful information for investors and other stakeholders who want to access a company's financial health. Comparing companies. The D ratio can be used to compare the financial risk of the different companies in the same industry. For example, if two companies have similar revenue and profit, but one has a higher D ratio than the other, the company with the higher ratio may be considered as riskier. Evaluating capital structure. The D ratio can also be used to evaluate company's capital structure, which refer to the mix of debt and equity financing used to fund the company's operations. A high D ratio suggests that a company is relying heavily on debt financing, which may be more expensive and risky than equity financing. Overall, the DE ratio is useful tool for evaluating a company's financial risk, comparing companies, evaluating its capital structure. However, it's important to consider other financial metrics and factor when making investment decision or assessing company's financial health. Now we will be taking a one live example, and so I found data. I get this data for East Tip Planner Limited from their balance sheet, and the total shareholder capital is 43 crore, and all the figures are in crore, and reserves of the company is having 261 crore, and the borrowings means total debt is having 21.45. So now let's calculate. So the total debt is long-term debt plus short-term debt is 21.45 crore. And the total equity is share capital plus reserves. Uh, so the total equity is 304. And the DE ratio is 1.45 divided by 304 is 0.07. So this is a less DE ratio. So thank